Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. We are learning the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation, and our today's topic is pedigree. What is meant by pedigree? Pedigree is a chart showing the inheritance of a particular trait in two or more ancestral generations of an individual or a domesticated animal. So when we are representing a family tree to represent a pedigree, we use certain symbols. They are shown here. A circle represents a female. If it is a square, that is male. A diamond shape shows sex unspecified. When a male is getting married to a female, these two are connected using a single line to show reproduction, whereas double lines between them shows consanguineous marriage, or rather we say relative marriage. If any of this is shaded, that shows the affected individual or the individual carrying that particular trait. In your level, usually we do not use any symbol for carrier. Most of your questions come with the carriers just as normal, but sometimes we use a dot in the center to represent a carrier. The first line of the pedigree shows parental generation. The second onwards is a sibling line. That means from the parental generation, a vertical line will be connected to another second row of horizontal line, that is a siblings line, or shows the children of the first parents. So we use Roman letters 1, 2, 3, etc. to represent different generations. And the siblings will be from left to right in the order. And any of them get married, the same person will be connected with a line to the spouse. Then from that a vertical line will be drawn to show the third generation or the second siblings line, which indicates the grandchildren. Okay, so this is how we are representing pedigree. So when it comes to pedigree, we already learned chromosomal disorders, genetic disorders in detail. Which are the genetic disorders we learned? Hemophilia, color blindness, which were X-linked recessive disorders, and we also learned sickle cell anemia, phenylketonuria, cystic fibrosis, thalassemia, all these as examples of autosomal recessive. Basically, we learned recessive disorders in detail, but we learned two examples of dominant as well. Whereas chromosomal disorders, we learned three. So usually what type of questions you can get? You will get questions to find out, looking at the pedigree, to first identify whether it is a dominant trait or a recessive trait. The second pattern of question, whether it is autosomal or sex-linked. And the third type of question, to identify the genotype of any one of the members. So basically we have to identify, or we have to study the pedigree first. How many generations are there? How many individuals are affected? Only males are affected or females are affected. So if you first study the pedigree, you will get a few clues for solving the pedigree. So what are the main clues for solving the pedigree? To find out an autosomal dominant or recessive trait. Here you can see a particular pedigree analysis trait or a chart in which you can see here all the generations are marked with the Roman letters. So one line indicates one generation. So look at each generation. At least one member is affected, right? So remember this, if every single generation has at least one shaded circle or square, that indicates a dominant trait. Do you know why? The reason is dominant traits rarely skip the generations. So every single generation, at least one individual is affected, you can write it as dominant. These are all generalized clues, okay? We cannot always use it, but these are the generalized clues for you to find out. Then, look at this. Here, in one generation, it is missing. So if at least one generation is there where the individuals are not affected, then we call it as recessive trait. So you got it? The first clue, usually you get the first question, is it autosomal or recessive? So look at the pedigree. If all generations, at least one individual is affected, that is dominant. If there are certain generations where not even a single individual is affected, that is recessive. Understood? Yes. What is the second question? Is it autosomal linked or sex linked? So there almost you will have to try out the pedigree, but still we can use some clues here also. First you see, in a single generation, not entire pedigree, in a single generation, both the sexes are affected, at least one male and one female affected, then we can say it is autosomal. And if the trait is more seen in females than in males, then we may come to a conclusion that it is an X-linked dominant disease. And if males are affected, then it is sex-linked recessive. So these are general guidelines for you to arrive at an answer, but still we have to work out the cross. Right? Now let us see a few practice questions in this regard. So here we have a pedigree and the questions are, is it autosomal or sex-linked, dominant or recessive, genotype of parents we have to find out, third and fourth members of generation 2 we have to find out. So before we start attempting this, first let us learn how to read a pedigree properly. So here we can say there are 3 generations, right? Obviously this is the first generation, parental generation. Here is the sibling line, second generation. Next is sibling line, third generation. So first generation, you know, obviously mother and father, but in this both are unaffected. Second generation, there are 4 children. I have numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order. First is a male son, second is a daughter, third is a son who is affected, fourth is a daughter who is not affected, but we don't know whether she is a carrier. She is married to a man who seems to be normal. They have 3 children. First one is again affected. Second and third children are sons. They are normal. So from this pedigree, first we have to recognize whether it is a dominant trait or a recessive trait. So let us first look at the clue. First generation, parents are unaffected. Second generation, there is an individual affected. Third individual affected. But one generation is skipped. So what is the chance? It is a recessive disorder. Now, autosomal or sex-linked. So we know that in one generation, one male and one female affected. Obviously it is autosomal. We can blindly say it is autosomal. But here that clue is not there because in this generation male is affected, in this generation female is affected. So now let us eliminate the possibility of a sex-linked disorder. Suppose if it is a sex-linked dominant trait, then most of the females would have been affected. On the other hand, if it was a recessive sex-linked, X-linked one, only males would have been affected. And the third possibility, if it is Y-linked, only males, all the males. So here we can see male and female are affected. So possibility is for autosomal disorder. Whenever we are writing genotype, next question is to write the genotype. If it is autosomal, you can go for an alphabet, capital A as dominant, and recessive, it's lowercase, small letter a. So let us see genotype of parents. But before that, from what we wrote here, we wrote it as a recessive autosomal trait. So we can write these 2 individuals have the genotype small a because the recessive situation will express only in a homozygous condition. Right. So that's our first clue. Now we have to go to the parental genotype. So from this son we will get the clue. This son has got 2 small letter a. So both the parents should have contributed 1 small a. Otherwise how can the child get 2a? Right? So both of them gave. Now are they recessive or heterozygous? They are heterozygous. Because if they were recessive, they would have been affected. Since they are normal, they are heterozygous. Right? So first answer we got, parents are capital A, small a and capital A, small a. Now, second question, third and fourth members of generation 2. So, this is generation 2. Here is the third member we already got. Since it is affected, it is homozygous recessive genotype small a. But fourth member again we do not know. But we know the child is small a. Even otherwise we know here the child would be small a. So, here it is she should contribute at least one small letter a. So, fourth member is capital A, small a because her daughter is affected. Let us look at another example. Here, this pedigree has again 3 generations. Parental generation not affected. Second generation, one son is affected. Third generation is also one son is affected. And there are 14 members in this family. So again, if we go back to our question, is it dominant or recessive? Now tell me, is it dominant or recessive? Yes, it is recessive. Why? Because one generation is skipped. In this generation, nobody is affected, right? So it is recessive. Next question is whether it is autosomal or sex-linked. We know only males are affected. So it is X-linked recessive. So actually, this is a typical example of pedigree showing hemophilia. So we know this son is XHY hemophilic, XHY. Mother is a carrier, XHX, father is normal, right? So this son is also XHY, so this mother is also a carrier. Okay, so if it is a sex-linked recessive, only males are affected. Let us now look at a different type of question. Here, a normal couple is getting married, but their son turned out to be hemophilic. And their daughter, who is normal, is married to a normal man, but unfortunately their son also becoming hemophilic. Here you have to represent a pedigree. So how will you make a pedigree? So of course first is parental generation. We know they have one son and one daughter, but we do not know the order. So let us take son and daughter, the way in which question is given. And this son is affected. This daughter is married to a normal man. Her son is also affected. We don't know whether they have any other children, but her son is affected. So now let us write the genotype. So this mother is giving this disorder to her son. So mother is carrier. Father is normal. This son is affected. Here is carrier daughter because her son is affected, husband is normal, child is etc. So this is the pedigree of this family. So far we found one autosomal recessive pedigree, then we did 2 pedigrees on sex-linked recessive or hemophilia. Color blindness also same, only thing the superscript will change. Okay. So now let us see another pedigree. So here members are more. We know that first generation male is affected. Second generation the one male is affected, one here female and another female affected. Their third generation again one female is affected, one male affected, one female affected. So it's rather pretty easy to find out because here all the generations it is affected, so it is obviously dominant, right? And also male and female are affected in the same generation, so autosomal. So it's an example of autosomal dominant trait. It's actually a pedigree of a disease called Huntington's chorea, which is an autosomal dominant trait. What you are supposed to find out here is the genotypes. I just wrote the members here. Second generation, third member. So let us see second generation. This is second generation. 1, 2, 3. This is the third member. So we know that it is a dominant trait. So if dominant trait means if it is capital A or capital A small a, both will be affected. So normal means it has to be homozygous recessive, right? So second generation, third individual is small a. Then third generation, first individual is affected. So it can be capital A or capital A small a, but we can see that one capital letter must have come from the father who is affected, but this mother must have given a small letter because she is normal. So her genotype is small a obvious. So she can give only small a. But this obviously father gave capital A. So the genotype is capital A, small a. Third, first generation, first parent. This is affected. If he was capital A, every single child could be only affected. But since small a are coming, normal children are coming, he was heterozygous. So his genotype is capital A, small a. So this is how you have to solve pedigree. So hope you understood the concept well. If you have any doubt, please don't hesitate to comment in the comment box. And also I request you to like, share and subscribe to my channel, Biology My Passion.